How do gamesters? Back again with another pickups video. These are pickups from past couple of months or so. I've just been keeping them in their bags that I bought them in and saying I'm going to do a pickups video, I'm going to do a pickups video, I'm going to do a pickups video. Then I shot the video last week for my vacation pickups, and I decided that I had better do this pickups video for all the pickups I gotten before that and some things that I got yesterday, because if I kept storing things in bags and not putting them away, I have so much stuff that I was eventually going to forget what I had bought in the first place and start buying doubles on accident. So that being said, I'm going to just go ahead and start. These are in no particular order. I've just grouped them all by system, and this is probably going to be a little longer of a video because I just have so much stuff. I've just steadily been adding to the collection. The first game that I'm going to show you is the only new Xbox game that I have added to the collection, and that is Jade Empire. I did not get the special edition with all the bells and whistles because I believe that really kind of the only thing that special edition had was, I think, a couple of new costumes, I think an extra character or two, and I believe all the cutscenes put together on DVD. I'm not too sure, but the regular edition was going to suit me just fine. So, let's see. These next games I'm going to show are for the Nintendo DS. I got a copy of Professor Layton and the Last Spectre, and all these games, if I got them from GameStop, still have their stickers on them because I've just been keeping them in bags. So I only have 2 more games to get in the Professor Layton series, and I'll be all caught up. And supposedly this last one that was released is going to be the last game starring Professor Layton in like the title role, and I hope not. I hope they change their minds on that, because I do enjoy the Professor Layton games a lot, and I wouldn't want to see him relegated to like a side role. Got a copy of Harvest Moon DS Sunshine Islands. I enjoy Harvest Moon a lot. I like the farming sims. They're very simple, and I don't know, I like the matchmaking aspect of it too because I'm a girl. Natsume is just a really good company. They make really interesting games. These next couple of games are for the PSP. I got a copy of Star Wars Lethal Alliance. I love my Star Wars games. And I also got a copy of Valkyria Chronicles 2. Brand new sealed. I don't unseal my games if they're new like this until I play them. Now, I used to unseal all my games, and then I started to get to the point where I couldn't remember what I played. So now if it's new and it's sealed, it stays sealed until I'm ready to play it. I don't want to play this, obviously, until I get Valkyria Chronicles, which I have not picked up yet, but this was just such a good price, I couldn't pass it up. This next game is for the PS Vita. It's the only new PS Vita game that I've gotten in a little while, and that's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. I don't have the first Assassin's Creed 3 yet. That's on my list to get, but I also did not pay this price for it. I paid $17, I believe, for this. So when I saw it going for that price, brand new, sealed, I snapped it up immediately. All my games are to one side here, so the camera's a little reversed. That's why when I show things, I'll tend to want to go this way and show them in the wrong side. This next stack of games is, let's see, which one do I want to do? I guess I'll go ahead and do my Wii games first. Got a copy of Donkey Kong Country Returns. Now, I can't remember if I've already showed this in another pickups video. I probably have, but the copy that I got from GameStop was crappy. I got a good copy, and they switched it out on me, and I didn't see it. Didn't have a manual. The case was all nasty and beat up. So I traded it in for credit when I got Dark Souls 2, and I just went ahead and picked up another copy. This does have the manual and looks really nice. Got a copy of Speed Racer, the video game. I've heard this is pretty good. It was really fairly cheap, and I like racing games, so no brainer. Now, you guys know I love pinball, so I got a copy of Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb Collection. And I actually had to piece this together because the first GameStop I went to, they had the case, and then they'd given out the wrong game. It was the Williams collection that they had, not the Gottlieb collection. So I asked if I could have the case. He let me have the case, and then I hunted all over to find the other Gottlieb collection game, and I found it, no case, and I already had the case and manual, so this is just pieced together. I got a copy of Red Steel 2. I don't know a ton about this game. I think it has the Wii Motion gimmick where when you slice things, you have to actually use the Wiimote as your sword. I got 2 instead of the first one. They had both of them there, but supposedly the first one really wasn't too great. The control didn't read half the time. This was reformulated for the Wii Motion Plus, so. And it was cheap. I got a copy of Kirby's Return to Dreamland. It's brand new sealed, and I got it for $24.99. Now, on Amazon, you can get this for $77. It's over $40, I believe, used at GameStop. So when I saw it brand new sealed for $24.99, of course I immediately snapped it up. Got a copy of Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles, just another game to add to the Resident Evil collection. Really, really, really getting into Resident Evil, so. And last but not least, another pinball game. I got Dream Pinball 3D. Haven't played it yet, but I love pinball games, so another no-brainer. Alright, this next stack of games, huge stack of games, even bigger stack of games I have is for the PS3. This next huge stack of games is for the Xbox 360. I got Battle Fantasia, another fighter. You know, I love my fighters. It just looked like a pretty game. I heard it was actually kind of underrated, that it was actually a really good game, and not a lot of people took any notice of it. So it's an Axis title. Axis is usually pretty good. I got a copy of Velvet Assassin. Now this is one I frickin' together. Had the insert or it had the cover art in the game, but not the original case or the manual. So I ended up getting an Xbox 360 case and a manual, and now it's complete. This is pretty cheap at GameStop, and I heard it was actually not as bad as what people said. It's a pretty decent stealth game, and I'm going through that phase where I'm not really listening to reviews too much, because a lot of times the games that get bad reviews I really like, so I'm just gonna give this a try and base it on its own merits. So 2, it's got a female lead. I mean, how can it be bad? Got a copy of Dante's Inferno. I got Star Ocean: The Last Hope. I am going to have to get the manual for this, but at least it came with the original case and the cover art. I got a copy of Dead Island. Sucker for zombie games. I know this is glitchy, but I don't know. I can live around glitches. Skyrim's got a lot of glitches too, and I enjoy that, so. Got a copy of Bulletstorm Epic Edition. I think this has all the DLC and stuff, and it was pretty cheap. It was, you know, with my discount, it was $8, so I don't know. Just thought I'd give it a try. I think it's like a bullet hell kind of thing. I got Crysis 2, the limited edition. I don't believe this came with any of its DLC because I think this was just like extra codes that were in there that had all the extra stuff, but it was shiny. And so, yes, I got it based on the fact that it's shiny and it's going to look nice on my shelf. So, I still have to get Crysis 3. Next up, I got Mass Effect. Got Mass Effect 2. And Mass Effect 3. All the entire Mass Effect trilogy bought separately is really, really cheap. So I thought, why not go for broke and get the whole thing? Just fodder for the collection. I don't collect everything. If I end up playing some of these games and finding out that I really don't care for them, I will trade them in or sell them on. I got a copy of Divinity 2, the Dragon Knight Saga. I love dragons. I love fantasy games. So, again, another no-brainer. Got a copy of Ninja Gaiden 2 for the Xbox. I believe this was, yeah, it was. It was an Xbox exclusive, so. And I love Ninja. I got Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage. It's a brawler, a massive brawler fighter. So I thought, why not give it a shot? I like, I'm not opposed to violence. I also got Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2. Though I believe this is getting to be a hard game to come by complete. I happened to stumble upon it complete at GameStop, so I went ahead and got it. And I don't think they came out with a lot of copies of that. I got Fallout, Game of the Year Edition, has all the DLC. Now, I'm not a huge DLC queen, so if it comes with DLC, great. If it doesn't, great too. I do want to get the DLC for, I haven't gotten it yet, for The Last of Us. That extra story, because that looks pretty cool, but. I also got Fallout New Vegas. Now, I bought Fallout New Vegas first. And then when I got home and I started looking up stuff for it, they said you really want to play Fallout 3 first. So I went ahead and I got Fallout 3. And that's the story on that. I went ahead and picked up a copy of Borderlands. I didn't get the Game of the Year edition because it was more expensive and it just had all the DLC. And like I said, I don't care about DLC. I was waiting for the price to drop on Borderlands 2, and I think it's gone down a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up Borderlands 2, which I hear is Borderlands was actually the better of the two games, but I like to have a complete set, kind of like me and Halo. Okay, this next game that's coming up I have heard is like, The Devil Incarnate is terrible, why, where did I go wrong, cry to the heavens. I got Perfect Dark Zero. I got this, it was insanely cheap. It was the Steelbook edition. So with its slipcover and everything, the slipcover is torn, and I was mad at the girl at the game store because she tore it even a little further because she got frustrated with it. Yeah, I wanted to smack her, but, I'm like, drop it in from the top, you loony, and she looked at me and did this, that, and it worked. Anyway, I got it because I like Steelbooks. I think they're great, and supposedly this isn't the same as the original Perfect Dark, but guys, this is supposed to be a prequel, so, come on. I cut games slack, I don't understand all the fuss and the muss and the drama. And the last game I got was Venetica. I gotta hear good and bad about it. It has a chick for, badass chick for the, lead, so I'm willing to give it a try. Girl power. Okay. It's like I'm like playing Jenga with these games here. I'm threatening to fall over. Stay. Goodness. Alright, and my last huge stack of games are all for the PS3. I got Ninja Gaiden 3, which I've heard is actually kind of a semi-terrible game, but it was brand new at GameStop for $9.99. No-brainer. Really no-brainer. Got a copy of Rage, the Anarchy Edition. I think this has all the DLC and stuff, but it was like super cheap, so. Got a copy of Wet. I hear good and bad about this game, but I picked it up complete. It was super cheap, so might as well give it a shot. Same with this game, Brutal Legend. It's, I think not a beat 'em up, but, you know, whatever. Fighting game for the PS3 set to, Metal Music, so. Has Jack Black in it. I'm not a huge Jack Black fan, but I think really the only movie I liked him in was The Holiday. Go figure. Got a copy of The Guided Fate Paradox. I got it pre-owned, and this game is getting hard to come by. It's a NIS America title, and a lot of times with NIS America games and games like this, they have a very small print run, and they don't reprint them. So when they start getting hard to find, you really need to pick them up. I got the first Infamous, because it was cheap. I need to get Infamous 2, and then Infamous Second Son that's coming out looks really amazing. I think it's a PS4 exclusive, I'm not too sure, but I may just pick it up for the PS4 and set it aside for when I get my baby. Hopefully soon. Okay, now this I just picked up yesterday. I got Final Fantasy X and X2, the HD Remastered Edition. I haven't played this yet. I'll probably leave it sealed for a while because I did play the other two. It's been a couple years now since I've played, and I want to get stuck back into this. I pre-ordered it because I wanted the edition with the art book and stuff, and I wanted to guarantee I had that. I also got this yesterday as well, and it knocked my socks off because I've been looking for it complete for a long time, and it's really, really expensive on eBay, on Amazon, anywhere I looked. And I actually found a complete one at GameStop too. GameStop I've been to numerous times, and I don't know if somebody just traded it in or they found an extra copy or had a copy sent to them, but I completely spazzed and snatched it off the shelf and said, it's mine. And that is Atelier Rorona, the Alchemist of Ireland. I can find Atelier Maruru, I can find Atelier Ayesha, and they even, or Aisha, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, I say Ayesha. And even the new Atelier game that has just come out, I could find those all over Antitori and complete, but I could not find Rorona. So I was really excited to find this, and it was a heck of a lot cheaper than anywhere else, so went ahead and got it. I still have to get Maruru and Ayesha and the new one that's come out, but I can come across those fairly easily. Got a copy of Max Payne 3. I've really become enamored of Rockstar Games. They're quickly becoming one of my top favorite companies, again, along with Working Designs and Atlas. They are, even though Working Designs is defunct, I still list them as one of my top companies because they just came out with wonderful games. But yeah, so this would be my first entry in the Max Payne series. I've heard people say it's a really good game, and it's by Rockstar, so I figure why not. And it was super cheap at Walmart. You can get a brand new complete copy for those of you who may not have it for $14.95, I believe. So if you want a new copy, you can find it at your Walmart. Get it, because it's the cheapest there, I believe. I got White Knight Chronicles International Edition, and I do have White Knight Chronicles 2, which has White Knight Chronicles 1 on it, but I'm one of those kind of people listen to me. I'm one of those kind of people who likes to have physical copies of games. I don't just like to have an extra copy floating around in the ether, so I managed to find this complete, and I went ahead and snagged it for cheap. Now this brand new is also really cheap too, and I don't know too much about it, but like, you know, an interesting fantasy game, so I thought I would go ahead and give it a shot, and that is Trinity Souls of Zil'ul, I believe. Not sure how you pronounce that exactly. But yeah, haven't played it yet. It's a Koei title, and Koei, I believe, makes pretty good games. Okay, and starting on the last stack here, I got Dynasty Warriors 6, my first entry in the Dynasty Warriors series. And for what I've heard, they switched up the fighting mechanic in this, so it's not as good a Dynasty Warriors game, but then they switched back in 7, so I have to pick up 7 and 8. I think 7 and 8 are fairly cheap, yeah, so I'll be picking those up soon. Love fighting games, I love massive fighting games like that, so. Got a copy of Resident Evil Raccoon City, which I have heard is, again, a horrible, terrible game. The AI is crappy and everything, but it was really cheap. I'm going to add it to the Resident Evil collection. I mean, I still like zombies, and I think this is one of those games that is so bad it's just laughably bad. Like, the voice acting in Resident Evil, it's terrible. It makes you laugh because it's so bad. Got a copy of Doom 3, the FG edition. I've never played Doom. This will be my first entry. I believe this has Doom 1 and 2 on it as well. So I can start from the beginning, and it has a bunch of extra missions. So I got a copy of Singularity. It doesn't have its manual, and the case is beat up, but I'm going to be replacing those soon. So no worries. I heard this is pretty good. So got a copy of Yakuza 3. I've heard really good things about the Yakuza series. Obviously, I don't have 1 and 2 yet. It's on my list, but I think this is one of those kind of things that you can kind of pick up and play. You may not fully understand the characters, but it's not too bad, so I'm excited to play it. Also in that same vein, I got Yakuza 4. I still have to get the Yakuza... I can't remember the subtitle on it, but it's the one where it's all the Yakuza characters fighting zombies, which I think is pretty cool. I believe Yakuza 5 is supposed to be coming over. I'm not sure. I think that was just in the rumor mill. It's not 100% confirmed yet. Okay, I got Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Now, the funny thing about the Uncharted series, and a funny little story, is when I first got my PS3, I had all 3 of the Uncharted games because the version of the PS3 console that I picked up had Uncharted 3 as a pack-in. So I went ahead and I picked up the other 2 that they were the greatest hits in the double case. And I never played them. Like, literally, I unwrapped them and they sat and they gathered dust. I was busy playing, like, Final Fantasy 13 and stuff. And I thought... At the time, I was just getting back into gaming, so I was thinking I had to play kind of girly stuff and everything, even though that's really not what I gravitated towards before. I mean, I love my girly games, don't get me wrong. But when I used to play games, I played everything. So I was going through this phase where I thought, well, if I'm going to get back into gaming, I'm just going to play girly games, and I'm not going to play boy games, because that's just not what girls do, right? So I did the idiot thing, and I traded all 3 in for credit towards, I can't remember what game, but yeah, and when I traded them in, like, the guy at GameStop looked at me, and he's like, what? You know? And I told a little white lie, and I'm like, oh yeah, I played them, and I just didn't care for them, blah. So here I am, like, a few years later, and I was looking at gameplay footage and looking at Uncharted, and I'm like, what? Why did I trade those in? They look so cool. Now that I'm, like, a gamer that has a brain. So I ended up rebuying all 3, and it's so funny because I got 1 and 2 in the same format that I had originally had them in, completely by accident, and then 3 in its original format. So I ended up back up with the set that I had when I first got back into gaming, so I thought it was pretty funny and atypical of me when I first started gaming. Okay, I got a copy of Sleeping Dogs. Haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And this is one I got talked into, and I think I'm really going to love it. I mean, you can't really talk me into something unless I kind of have an inkling I want to play it. I was picking up and looking at this game, and I had been talking with a couple of the guys who were in the GameStop, and of course they were employees and they try and sell you things anyway, but I have a good rapport with these guys, and they don't try to sell me things that I'm not going to like because they know me. So I was picking this up. I was just on a spree and I had a stack of games already, but I picked this up and I was looking at it, and one of the guys came over and he's like, "Oh my god, have you played that?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You have to get it. It's great." And again, it's a Rockstar title, and I thought, well, why not? And the title is Red Dead Redemption, the Game of the Year Edition with all the DLC. So I figured, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I told them that I'd never played Grand Theft Auto, and that is a Rockstar series that I plan on never playing. Just doesn't appeal to me, even with guy games. It crosses us, and I play violent games, but I don't know. It crosses a line in my mind that's just there, and I never want to get into that. So that's a series I leave alone, and I told them I never played Grand Theft Auto because I kind of likened it to Grand Theft Auto, and I said, well, I've never played Grand Theft Auto and I don't plan to. And one of the other guys was like, well, it's only like Grand Theft Auto in the sense that, I can't remember exactly what he said about it, but he said, actually, I got really, really bored with Grand Theft Auto. He didn't like Grand Theft Auto. He said, basically, once you finish the missions, all there is left is, be chased by cops. There's always something to do in this. It's just really neat and really refreshing. So I figured, why not? I'll give it a chance. And I hear really, really great things about it. So, all right. Next up is Demon's Souls. Really, 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 really hard game from what I've heard by all accounts, but I don't mind hard, and it's an Atlas title, so go figure. I have to have it. I am on the fence, I will say, I am on the fence about getting Catherine, so if somebody wants to try and talk me into that, I'm more than willing. I can't entirely sell myself on Catherine because it just seems so weird. And I like weird, but I mean, it just seems over the top. So anybody who wants to try to convince me to get Catherine, I'm all ears, trust me, because I'm very on the fence about it. I got a copy of Dark Souls, and in my last pickup, I showed that I had gotten Dark Souls 2. So yeah, again, really hard game. What's to be said? Alright. And I got a copy of Resident Evil 5, the Gold Edition. I was going to just pick up the regular Resident Evil 5, or Resident Evil 5, the regular edition, but they talked me into the Gold Edition because, from what I heard, let me see. The Gold Edition is worth picking up just for I couldn't remember the name of the mission, but apparently it's worth picking up just for the Lost in Nightmares mode. Apparently that's a really, really good, little side thing that they put in there, so I'm looking forward to playing this. I've heard it's kind of cruddy, but also fairly worthy entry in the Resident Evil series, so I think everybody's main gripe is that Resident Evil has switched over from, it's less of a survival horror and it's more like an action game with zombies. But I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, because you have to look at it this way. If games don't move with the times, they get left in the dust. Now, you can argue with Pokemon that it's had the same formula for years and it's still popular, but with the most recent entries, from what I can see, and I don't have either of the most recent entries yet, and bad me, and I will get around to it because I do love Pokemon, but they've kind of come into like the 3D era now. You know, eventually they had to update, and that's kind of how I view the Resident Evil series. Is they've kind of had to move into that genre because that's kind of what everybody plays now. Is they want action-oriented games. They don't necessarily want to, you know, sneak around and stuff, and you know, shoot zombies from around corners and whatever. A lot of people, I think, they're moving away from the horror, survival horror aspect, and they still want a kind of a horror game, but with more action elements. You know, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. You can agree, disagree, but that's how I feel. And last but not least, I just picked this up on a whim. It had dragons. I'm a sucker for dragons. Anybody, by the way, anybody who knows any good like games with dragons, I'm all for it. Recommend them. I'll check them out. I got Lair. I know nothing about this game. Still know nothing about this game. I haven't played it, but I saw dragons all over the back of it, and I went, dragons! So, you know, I'm a nerd. Alright, that all about... Oh, no, it won't either. I meant to show this at the beginning before I showed all the other games, but I want to try and get back into my PC gaming. I used to be a big PC gamer back in the day because the way our game setup was when I was a kid, the consoles were in the living room on a small TV, and my mom was always out in the living room. My dad was asleep because he worked night shift like I do now. My mom would be in the living room. Well, if she saw me and my sister playing video games, if we weren't quiet about it, you know, like to the point where she wouldn't catch us, if she caught us, she would ask us why we were playing those dreaded video games, go outside and play. So I got more into PC gaming because I could sneak into our computer room and sit and play. And she would never catch me, and my sister would be off reading somewhere. So I was a little more into PC games for a certain period of my life, you know, up until I became like a little bit of a mid-teenager, and then it wasn't so much play outside, you know, it was do what you want. But I want to try and get into PC games a little bit more now. I've played and I've beaten a couple, Little Inferno and Serena, which is just they're kind of point and click. Serena, by the way, I recommend. It's a little pricey for what it is, I think. You can get it on the Steam network. It's creepy. I played it at night and I kind of creeped myself out. To me it was kind of creepy. I don't know. It hit me that way. And especially towards the end, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll see what I mean if you're that type of person that gets creeped out a little easily. Play it at night. Play it in a dark room. Play it like I did. It kind of, I don't know, gave me goosebumps. But anyway, being that I want to get back into PC games, I saw this and it was cheap. I paid $4.97 for this. And I don't know, I've been seeing its sister game in GameStop for the PlayStation 3, and since I've never played an entry in this series, I figured this might not be a bad place to start. And the game is Diablo 2. I got the battle chest, which comes with everything and a guide. And like I said, I paid $4.97 for this. I happened to be in Kmart, and I walked over. They had this case. The case was so old it had a padlock on it. You know, it wasn't even like a standard case where they keep games. And I walked over, and they had a couple PC games in there, and I saw this sitting there, the entire battle chest for that cheap. And I went, what? And so I went and snagged somebody, and I said I needed to get something out of the game case, and like, it had been so long since anybody got in this case, he had to find the key on the ring. It was crazy. He forgot even how to open the case. The doors opened out instead of sliding. It was nuts. And he looked and he said, I didn't even know we had this in here. And I'm like, I did. It was the very last one there, and I got it, and I was excited about it. Haven't opened it yet because I know Diablo is like one of those games that when you get started playing it, it kind of sucks you in. I'm not quite sure how my laptop would do with it anyway, because it's not on its last legs, but it's... how old? I say it's coming up on, yeah, it's about 5 years old now. So in technological terms, it's a little elderly, but hey. So I'll probably be giving this a try and not too long. I actually crazily thought about getting involved in World of Warcraft. But I definitely know I probably need to upgrade my computer before I even think about starting Warcraft at all. I'm just one of those type of people that I will have blocks of time that I can devote to things, but I do have a life outside of gaming. And a lot of times gaming gets put on the back burner. That's why I'll get games, but I won't necessarily play them right away or have time to play them all the way to completion for a long time, because gaming is something I do and I love it, but it's not my whole life. And I never want it to be my entire life. I'm a multifaceted person. You know, I like lots of different things. I like hanging out with the few friends that I have, you know. I like makeup, I like shopping, I like all those nice girl things. And video games. So I have to make time for everything. And I work a high stress job that I feel like I live at a lot of times. So wow, I have now rambled on for well over half an hour. I did warn you this video was going to be kind of long. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video and for taking this magical, mystical, I have bought a lot of things journey with me. And I will be buying many more things in the future. There are games that are coming out that I'm looking to pre-order that I'm really excited about. Like I said, Infamous Second Son, Murdered, I believe it's Soul Suspect, I think. Don't quote me on that. The new Arkham game that's coming out, that's PlayStation 4 exclusive, but I'll still end up picking it up. There's lots of things, Lego Hobbit, all kinds of things coming out, so that I'm really looking forward to. And Final Fantasy 15 at some point. Come on, we need a release date on this. I'm begging you, and Kingdom Hearts 3. But, before I ramble on anymore, thank you so much for watching. Comments, click the subscribe button, the like button, thumbs up. I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who takes time to watch this. If you're curious about any of the games that I've mentioned, if you would like me to play and review a certain game, I'm open to that. I'm still on hold on Let's Plays just because I don't want my account to get shut down. That's no bueno, no fun times. But any questions that you may have for me, go right ahead. Anything that you think I could recommend or what have you, more than happy to do that. And any recommendations you have for me. I do love games. Like I said, I'm always adding to the collection. I like to have new things to look forward to. I'll probably be doing a summer backlog challenge when it gets a little later on in the year. I'm looking forward to that. But as always, peace, love, and happy gaming, everyone. Bye.